Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today we're going to tie an improved generic nymph. This is going to be a LivelyLegz bead head generic, and the hook that I have in the vise is the LivelyLegz lip splitter. This is a number 475 size 12. It is 1 extra strong and 3 extra long. This is the bronzed hooks. Has a micro barb on there. You can crimp that down if you'd like. And the bead that I'm using is the LivelyLegz Down and Dirty Tungsten beads, and this is not gold. This is actually metallic coffee is what they call it. It's a really nice color. You should really check these out. I really like that color. It's not too bright, not too flashy. Just nice color. We're going to use some brown thread. Brown, or this is a darker tan, I would call it. The generic nymph, it works because of basic entomology. If you turn over rocks and you pick the nymphs off the rocks, if you look at their belly is a different color than the top side of them, and they're lighter. So the two-tone, I believe, is when they see that coming down and tumbling and it has that two colors, I think that's a trigger for them. And bring that thread back just about to the barb of the hook, just on the flat. And I'm going to start out, I'm going to put the rib on first. And for the rib, I have a extra fine copper wire. And this extra fine copper wire, if you check out my video in the materials playlist on materials, you'll get a lot of tips of how to get this stuff without having to buy it. And several different things. Several different tips there. For our tail and the back of the fly, we're going to use pheasant tail center, and we'll grab about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch worth from the stem. We want the tail to be about maybe half the length of the body. We're going to go ahead and tie that in. And I'm going to bring that up almost 2/3, and then fold it over and bring it back just the length of the abdomen. Now we're going to dub the body, and I'm going to use a cream colored Antron dubbing. The Antron doesn't have any hair in it. There is one there, but it just picked up from the table. Get a little bit of moisture on my fingers. Antron doesn't it doesn't usually dub as tight of a noodle as, say, Superfine does. It does add a little bit of shine more than the Superfine. And always remember, you can always add more, so don't put too much dubbing on there. Add about 3 inches, and we come up to the top of the abdomen there. I'm going to take that pheasant tail and fold that over. Try to flatten it out on the top of it. Try to get that flat. We're going to tie that down I'm going to take that rib and we widen the rib, and just kind of be careful that the rib doesn't carry the pheasant tail over on you. Just about 3 wraps. Go ahead and break that extra fine wire off. I'm going to fold that back. And now here is my improvement. I made a couple of these already, and I have extra pheasant tail that I cut off. And instead of throwing it away, I'm going to use it on this one. Use it on the next one. I'm going to even out those. And I'm going to tie 2 sections, and I'm going to tie them more on the sides of the first. This is going to give me a wider shell case and help make that wider thorax that you see on the nymphs. We'll go ahead and trim that off once again. I'm going to tie that on the far side. Now we got quite a bit of pheasant tail for our wing case. Now I'm looking at the bottom so I can get my thread right to the thorax there. You can see I moved back slightly. Now for the legs, I have the LivelyLegz, and this is size small, 14-12, and these are the yellow legs. They're not really yellow, but they're that nice lighter color brown, and they have specks in them. I'm going to take one of those and the front leg is that one that's like almost at the 90-degree. But before I tie it on, I'm going to trim that tab. Be careful you don't get a leg. Trim about half of that off. Just a little, leave a little bit there. Get my thread up to the front here. Now I'm going to butt that tab to the bead, and I'm holding it towards my side because once I start wrapping, it's going to make its way right to the top. And I move between the legs. Now I'm going to move to the rear of the second set. Now I grab that third set of legs, and we're just going to trim them off because they're a little bit, it's a little too much. Three are a little bit too much for the mayfly imitation or the hook size. And then we got the legs there nice on top. Now I'm going to take more of that same colored dubbing, and we're going to make a little bit thicker of a noodle on this one. But, like I said, you can always add more. And we're going to go ahead and dub that. And when you dub around the legs, don't worry as much for the top, but for the bottom, because that's the part that the fish is going to see. So you don't want any misses there. And this wasn't quite thick enough. So, like I said, you can always add more. So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to add another noodle. And if you moved the leg, just gently pull it out of the way. I say gently. They are tough, and the fish won't. Very small chance that the fish are going to cut a leg off, but you couldn't pluck them with your fingers, and I've done it by tugging on them too much. Let me get the little bit of moisture in my fingers there. I'm going to create that fat thorax. I'm going to move those front legs out of the way. Now I have the thorax done. Gonna take care of those stringies a bit there. There we go. Now I'm going to take that wing case, I'm going to fold that wing case over. And this is why I call it the improved wing case. You're going to get a nice thicker wing case to make a thicker looking thorax. Make sure that they're flat. You see that nice thicker wing case there. I'm going to trim that off. And now on this one, I'll keep those longer ones that are in the center, and I'll throw away the others. They're just getting a little bit too short. Just keep the longer ones and get rid of the shorter ones. Go ahead and give it a whip finish. When you whip finish, make sure that you don't catch a leg, because if you catch a leg and you tighten it, you just lost it. There we go. Tighten that up, trim that excess, trim off the thread, put a little bit of head cement on there. And here we have an improved generic nymph, LivelyLegz, Bead head generic nymph. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors. If you'd like to purchase this fly or any flies that I make, go to my Etsy page at etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. And most of all, I thank you very much for watching my videos.